What do you think of when I say school uniforms? Does it make you think of Hogwarts, the British, or maybe even various different anime? I know I do. School uniforms may be more common than you might think. Actually, 57% of private schools in North America use uniforms, and 18.8% of public schools in North America use uniforms as well. So that begs the question, what are school uniforms even for? Are they beneficial? What do they do? What do they not do? Today I want to answer that in this video. To narrow our research, I'm only going to be looking at schools that use uniforms in North America. This is because cultural differences in other countries or regions can change the effects of a uniform greatly. So let's jump into it. One, decreasing violence and gang affiliations. In areas where drugs, violence, gangs, and all sorts of illegal happenings occur, students who have uniforms can be seen as a beacon of hope. Removing students' ability to hide or conceal weaponry or drugs inside of baggy clothing will not only help keep the schools safer, but also keep the overall area safer where the school is located.
As this student's appearance demonstrates, having a lax policy about dress makes it easy for a student to conceal a weapon and makes it difficult to identify intruders on campus. A dress code can reduce weapons violations, relieve tensions between gangs, reduce disciplinary infractions, and generally improve the atmosphere of the school. Our policy requires that students tuck in their shirts, making the belt line visible at all times. Our students may not wear baggy pants or colors and insignias that are commonly associated with gang activities.
Gang affiliation clothing would also be restricted, which would keep the school safer because the other gang members would be unable to identify each other within the school, which seems to be a big problem in North America currently with gang violence. 2, cost effective. Instead of needing to pay for back-to-school clothes or any other fashion needs that a child may have, parents from low-income areas can send their kids to school with the necessary clothing needed and make sure all kids are on the same playing field when it comes to fashion and clothing and how they dress. 3, leveling wealth differences. The wealth gap between rich and poor students would be eliminated. No need for exclusive brands or designer clothes because everyone wears the same thing. This would also help with the high bullying rates that we see in North American schools because everyone would be on the same level. Many cases of school bullying occurs because of differences in appearance. So uniforms would help schools in their attempts to stop further bullying. 4, school unity. Finally, students will experience school spirit like they never have before. A uniform shows the whole world and other students from the same school that they are connected and that they are united under one educational banner. This will also deter students from displaying negative behavior outside of the school because they are representing their school wherever they go. The affiliation actually matters. Now let's dive into the arguments against school uniforms. 1. School uniforms do not decrease violence/gang affiliation. Removing weapons or illegal contraband from a student is a good thing, but baggy clothes are not the only thing that a student can conceal these items in. Many schools that still enforce uniforms also allow for backpacks, purses, etc., which can all contain illegal contraband. It is true that gang affiliations will be less recognizable thanks to the uniforms, but gang affiliations are still present. The student will still be a part of the gang, but you've now enabled them to go under the radar and do it in secret. 2. Cost effective? School uniforms are not cost effective. Let's put it this way. While it may be true to buy a uniform instead of a whole set of clothes for a year, this argument does not take into account that students buy around 6 pairs of uniforms. Now, let's do the math. According to Statista.com, parents on average will pay $423.72 on back-to-school clothes and shoes. While on the other hand, parents who buy uniforms will be buying on the ranges from $25 to $500, while the average for a school is $100 per uniform. Take that into account with the math we did earlier, with 6 uniforms being bought for the year, not even considering that some schools have seasonal different attire. That makes $600 needed for the whole year of school clothes. This puts low-income families in a really tough spot. Even if the best education is at that school, they cannot send their child due to the over-expensive uniform cost. Granted, these uniforms may cost $25 each, which is cheaper with only 6 pairs. However, the truth is that a student must grow. They're going to grow physically. So during a year, if you've ever seen a growth spurt, a child will go through uniforms like crazy. Buying cheaper clothes that the kid can stretch into instead of a fitted uniform will always be a better option for a growth spurt or any growing child. It should be also mentioned that the uniform making market or the global uniform economy is worth over $27 billion. That just puts into perspective how lucrative the uniform business is. 3. Leveling wealth differences. It is true that students will no longer be wearing fashionable brands or designer clothes thanks to the uniform policy. But in North America, even the most strict uniform policies still allow for some accessories. Accessories can show a student whether they're wealthy or not. It's not impossible to get rid of this by saying no more accessories. Wealthy students can still use accessories to differentiate themselves from lower income students. This is a problem because bullying does not stop automatically when you enforce uniforms. There's something that's underneath the layer of this uniform. It doesn't magically stop uniforms, so it must be something else causing bullying. 4. School unity. Uniformity is for the purpose to unite people under one banner to accomplish a goal opposing something else. We see this in sports teams with their jerseys. We see this in the military with their garb. We see that the sports teams are against other sports teams. We see that the military is against other military. But what about a school? Are they against education? Surely not. What's really happening here is the school uniform is to show the appearance of unity. In reality, we're all different. So in North America, we really emphasize that. And the problem with appearance of school unity is that there's differences all over the place. I'll get into this more in the next section. 5. Cultural expression. In North America, the individual's rights, freedoms, and experience is emphasized. We like to express ourselves. So it's very odd to now put forward that we need uniformity as an appearance. When I say as an appearance, I mean that you make a farce out of being unified. In reality, people are different and have different opportunities. Some would say that that's injustice, but that's just the reality of the world we live in. The standardization that we see, standardized tests, grades, degrees, uniforms. They're all an attempt to appear like we're unified. But in the end, we're taking our high levels and our low levels, and we're just squishing them together to form one pile of mediocrity. So there you have it. Those are the arguments for and against school uniforms. So what are my thoughts? What do I believe about all this? Take this from someone who went through high school, middle school, and elementary, and even preschool with no uniform. I don't believe in the standardization of uniforms in North America. First, the cost. Even if a family is lucky to get a low range of $25 for their child's uniform, it still has the chance to go to the opposite way. The only good education near them is with those 100 and more ranges. And second, a uniform doesn't actually prepare a student for life in North America. The individualism is so key here in North America that having the appearance and teaching a child in their early development stages that appearance of unity is all that matters is a farce. I too have played on sports teams that have uniforms and jerseys, and I've felt the synergy and the power of wearing them. However, I believe the unique quality of that is that you don't wear the jersey all the time. Here is where I want to present some ideas, how to bring the ideas and positives of uniformity into the ideas of uniqueness in North America. How about this? Students have one uniform item of clothing. Let's say it's a jacket or a shirt. Doesn't matter. What if they only wear them on Fridays or game days or any other special event? The idea is that one individual after another is coming together to form a group that feels unified in their school. Instead of having this flat standardization where all of these unique students are already on the same place in appearance. So the goal is then to be different and to get away from the school. So those are my thoughts on uniforms. I hope you can start asking yourself questions of whether or not you agree that uniforms should or shouldn't be used in schools. All right, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much, and be sure to be on the lookout for another upload very soon. And as always, I'm forced to say everything that I do.